Welcome to the Crafty Sparrow podcast. My name is Amanda, and today we're going to talk about lots of knitting, maybe a little bit of cross stitch, and even some sewing. Thank you for all the viewers that have come back from my other two episodes, come back to watch the third one, and thank you to the new viewers that have decided to join in as well. So grab your coffee. I've got my morning cup here in my wifey mug that I got when I got engaged. And just get cozy, grab your knitting, your crafting, whatever it is, or just sit back and relax and watch. So, first of all, my finished objects is also what I'm wearing. This is my Wednesday sweater from PetiteKnits. It is a really, really cozy tweed. I picked a tweedy yarn, but it's worsted weighty yarn held with mohair. So it's kind of a bulky sweater. It's got a turtleneck to it. It was actually supposed to be a lot taller turtleneck, but I don't live in a really cold area, so I altered it to be less turtleneck-esque, I guess you could say. So I can still fold it down, or if it's like really windy and my neck is cold, I can get all cozied up in it like this. You know. It was a really fun sweater to make. It was super, super quick. Here, I'll stand up so you can see it better. It was knit in the round for the body, and has a split hem back. It's got a longer back than it does front, and it's got some really unique, like shapings for the shoulder. It was worked flat to begin with. And you did some short row shaping, and then you picked up the collar at the end. And it's a drop shoulder. Really super cozy, oversized. And the yarn that I used for it was Knitpicks City Tweed, worsted weight, and I did their Aloft mohair. And I think I actually swatched for this one for once, and let's see. Yeah, so the pattern called for a 5mm needle, and I swatched, and I didn't really like I don't think I matched exactly, so I went down a half a millimeter, so one needle size, to a 4.5mm, and it doesn't have like two separate knitting needles for ribbing in the body, so I just did 4.5 the whole way, and it's so soft. This was actually my first mohair project that I did, first time using mohair. I really like how it feels in my hands. Like, it's super soft. It's just a little bit scratchy, like up towards like my upper arm and this region right here. But it's mostly when it's really hot or I'm really sweaty from like wearing it, I guess. But when it's really chilly, or even if you have something underneath it, it's super cozy. And I've really, really enjoyed wearing it. I think I've worn it once to work. It's still pretty warm here in the south, but it gets really cold in the morning, and then I can take this layer off and I'll have like a t-shirt underneath. It's been really nice. So yeah, this is the Wednesday sweater from PetiteKnits with the City Tweed and Aloft from Knitpicks. That's the only finished, well actually I did have two other finished objects, but I don't have them here to show you. The first one was the Lodge sweater from, let's see who that, I think it was Ozetta. I showed it to you guys last time on the last podcast. I was making the Lodge sweater for a friend who commissioned for me to make it for her, and she loved it. It was also with City Tweed yarn, but hers was with like a steel gray color. She loved it, and it was really nice to make. Another really quick knit. I thought that it was really similar to this one, actually. I mean, it's two different designers. I guess partially because I was using the same yarn. It was kind of like a similar feel to it. But it was also a drop shoulder with a bit of a turtleneck, and it called for split hem, but she didn't want split hem, so I just didn't include that. but very similar construction. The shoulder shaping was different, but all in all, it was almost like I was making the same sweater, but by two different designers. But it was a lot of fun to make. And then the other finished object that I don't have here, Lucy, what do you want? What? Oh, the other finished object that I don't have to show you here is the crocheted fall garland. I don't know if you remember, I think it was my first podcast that I mentioned I was planning on making it, and I showed some of the leaves on my second podcast. I finally strung it together and put it up in my office. I ended up not blocking the leaves just because I was kind of just done making the crocheted leaves, and so I just strung them onto a string and hung them up, and it's pretty cute. It probably would have looked better if I added more leaves, but I hope you guys can't hear her meowing. She's very talkative this morning. But yeah, so I don't really have a picture to show you of it either, and I can't figure out how to put pictures onto the video yet. I haven't found a program that makes it easy. So you'll just have to picture all the little leaves strung up and put on my door. But that's all that I've finished since the last podcast. But I do have two really exciting works in progress to show you. So, the first work in progress is in my one and only bag. I put all my knitting projects in this. I should have looked up who the designer was. I got it like a year and a half ago. It was for not my last birthday, which is in September, but the year before. My mother-in-law bought it for me. It was from some designer on Etsy. I really like it. It's got this nice floral pattern on it. Well, it's more of like a botanical pattern. It's got this very like stiff, I guess it's linen. I know it's a cotton linen bag. And I like to fold it over and then just set it down and knit out of that. It's got little pockets in it. Keep all my notions. So, yeah, this is my first work in progress. It's called the Seasons Change Cardigan by TheKnitStitch, I think. Hold on. Yes, TheKnitStitch. And it's a cardigan that actually is worked flat the entire time, even the sleeves, which I know sounds like a pain. It's really popular now for knitters to prefer working in the round because purling can be a pain for some. But I actually really like purling. The wrong side rounds are super, super relaxing for me. Just purling all the way through. And maybe Pima cotton, it's made out of Pima cotton, but maybe the cotton is a bit smoother than like wool, because wool will scratch your hands more than cotton will. Well, certain wools. Anyway, this is the back pattern. Isn't it cute? I love nature, anything like leaves and pine cones, whatever. So this like leaf motif just called to me. It took me forever to figure out which pattern I was going to use for this yarn, but as soon as I saw this, and even the pattern was made for this yarn, like this was the recommended yarn, so it just worked out perfectly. But this is the cotton from We Are Knitters. It's 100% Pima cotton, and I'm a huge like coppery orange fan. I think it's perfect for fall time. I will wear it even probably in the springtime. I will wear this color all year round. But I actually have a really sweet story for the brand We Are Knitters. It was actually the first yarn that I got for the purpose of knitting. My father-in-law, I was just getting into crocheting, and my father-in-law bought me one of the packs that you can get that comes with like the pattern, the large flat knitting needles, and the yarn you needed for it. I didn't end up making what the pattern called for. It was like a really elaborate knitted hat with like ear flaps and everything. I wasn't quite ready to tackle that, so I just practiced like garter stitch back and forth and made it was just like a flat scarf, but I sewed the two ends together to make it like an infinity scarf. I never wear it, but it's kind of like my first knitted thing, and that got me hooked on knitting. So We Are Knitters is the first like little thing that I used for knitting, and here I am again, not even a year later, and I'm using We Are Knitters yarn and now making something like this. So, yep. So this is the back, and you've got each side on either side of the back. These are the panels, and then you're gonna end up. I think the next round will have to be like you'll have to split the 3 panels. So you'll have this is the left panel, the back, and then the right panel will all split, and you'll work those back and forth. And I think I may be wrong, I haven't looked that far in the pattern yet, but I think there's neck shaping as well. And then once you're done with the body, you work the sleeves back and forth, and you end up whip stitching or mattress stitching the sleeves together and then sewing them onto the body. But I'm a sucker for Pima cotton. The first time that I used Pima cotton was it was a knit crate. They had like this stormy gray colorway made out of 100% Pima cotton. I made a shawl out of it, and I just love the way it feels. I like the way it feels in my hands while I'm working with it. I like the way that just like the fabric it makes it's almost like cool to the touch. So it's really perfect for places that aren't so cold, but it'll still keep you warm. You know, it's like it makes your body heat keep you warm instead of the fabric itself, whereas wool is very warm and like you touch it and you just feel warm touching it almost. I don't know, maybe that's just me. You're gonna burn your tail. There's a candle back there. Okay. My husband's in the other room trying to call her away. So yeah, this is my second works in progress. Let's see if I have anything else to say about it. Oh, I used one size below recommended. I gauged for this one as well. Cute little gauge. I've really started enjoying doing gauges now because you get this little souvenir almost of your projects, and I kind of like the idea of like hanging them around. Like I've been putting them on my fireplace screen that I have. This one and this one. And I know that like swatching in the round will give you a different gauge than swatching flat. But I don't know, I think I'm just gonna, even if it's a project that is in the round, I think I'm just gonna swatch flat and recognize that my tension is going to be a lot looser than what it would be if it was in the round. If anything, just to have like a little piece to, you know, see how it drapes, and I probably should have blocked these and see if the gauge changed, but I didn't. Whatever. So yeah, for these I used a 4.5 millimeter. That's been my needle size lately, because I use 4.5 for this one, for this sweater. I believe I used it for the Lodge sweater as well. I've always been somebody that liked like fingering wet yarn, so my needles are usually a lot smaller. But lately I've been using like a worsted weighted yarn, I guess. I'm just obsessed with the way this looks. I really want to get some good photos of it. Put it on my Instagram. I've been slacking big time on my Instagram photos. And if you do want to see my Instagram photos, I'll put a little thing down here at the screen. I'm TheKnitStitch on Instagram. And on Ravelry, I'm a crafting sparrow because I couldn't fit in all the letters for the crafting sparrow. But I don't really get on there very often just to buy patterns. Actually, soon I may have another purpose for getting on there. I am designing my first pattern. It's going to be a scarf. I'm using, of course, Knitpicks Stroll. It's the first time I've been using Knitpicks Stroll. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I know it's really popular for sock making but I really wanted something that was still wool, but I wanted something that was going to be more durable than just 100% wool, because with a scarf I want to be able to throw it in the washer, or I don't know, be a little bit more rough with it. Yeah, so I used Knitpicks Stroll. This is the, what color is this? Jackrabbit Heather. And I will show you guys a little sneak peek of it. Little sneak peek. It's basically just cables all the way around. And I really wanted it to be forest inspired. So it's got some leaf motifs on it. Not all the way around, but here, I don't even know how do you sneak peek a pattern? You just show it. It's not done, so it's not like you see the whole thing. Where's the beginning here? I haven't gotten much on it yet, but here's some things. It's got little bobbles on it. And then the back. Yeah, this isn't going to give away much anyway, because there's barely anything done on it. I had quite a few things done on it already, but I got like that far into it, and I realized that I didn't like the cables that I chose. I didn't like the combination of it, so I ripped it all back. Which was heartbreaking, but necessary. One thing that is interesting about designing this scarf is learning how to make a chart in Excel. I'm really good at Excel. I use it for my job all the time. I know how to use it, I know the tricks and whatever, but it's a whole different thing using Excel for artistic purposes versus like data purposes. So I'm learning a lot in that aspect. I think I have the chart figured out. I just need to make sure that it makes sense for somebody that didn't design it. I was showing it to some of my friends, and they said that it was making them dizzy looking at it, but they aren't knitters, so I don't know. Maybe it won't be dizzy to the people that know how to read a chart. So those are my finished objects and my works in progress. We've got my Wednesday sweater that I love, and I can't wait to wear it just like every other day as like a coat to throw on going to work. I have my beautiful Seasons Change cardigan and my scarf. Oh, I think I already have a name for the scarf too. I'll get into that in a second when I talk about what I've been up to in life. But yeah, and so as far as acquisitions go, I do technically have an acquisition, and I just realized that I did not grab it, so I'll be right back. So, sorry for the crinkling if it's loud. Hold on, let me get the crinkling out of the way first. Alright, so my mother-in-law bought me a beginner's sewing machine. It was actually for the Marit cardigan. I really wanted to sew the steeped edges instead of doing a reinforced crochet seam. And I was just going to use hers that she had, but she had thrown it out. So she just bought me one. It's just like it's a brother machine. I don't know anything about sewing, so I don't know if it's a good beginner one or a bad one, but I learned how to use it pretty quickly with YouTube, and it wasn't too difficult. There were a few things that I definitely had to get used to, and I made some mistakes on my Marit cardigan, of course. It's my first time using a sewing machine. There's going to be mistakes, but I thought it was really fun to just see the sewing machine make those beautiful, like, perfect stitched lines on the fabric. And I've been really into high-waisted skirts as far as, like, my wardrobe goes. And it's really difficult to find a high-waisted skirt that I, like, think I would wear. And also shopping online is very difficult because you don't know how the fabric's going to feel. You don't know if you're going to get the right size, and I don't like going through having to like ship things back because it didn't fit. So I said, you know what, I got that beginner sewing machine, I'm just going to make my own. So I started looking up YouTube videos, how to make a simple beginner's like first sewing project skirt, and I found one that I'm pretty confident that I can do. It's literally just taking a big like rectangle and like seaming it and then seaming the elastic band into it. I think I can do it. So I got really excited and I went to the store and I got this beautiful apparel fabric. It's almost like a chocolatey plaid, and I'm going to try to make this into a skirt. I got the elastic band for it, some safety pins, and my thread for it. So I hope that next time I see you, I will have finished this high-waisted elastic skirt. And I can add a whole nother craft to this podcast, because now we've got knitting, we've got crochet every now and then. I don't really crochet too much anymore, but cross stitch, which actually I forgot. I have cross stitch to show you too. It's not much. I did like 4 squares, but I did do some. And now I have sewing. So we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty excited for it. I don't even know if it's worth moving this thing and showing you guys its progress. I'll try to move it. Basically, I just did this little L here. And all I have it left is this part right here for this page of the pattern. And I think it's 2 more pages, or maybe 2 and a little bit. My brother keeps me in check. Every time he comes over, he's like, you got all this knitting done, and you didn't do anything on your cross-stitch project. And he shames me. Alright. So, that's everything that I've been up to since last episode. And other than the sewing project, I don't really have too much planned as far as like future knitting or future crocheting. I know that I want to make my own Christmas stockings for Christmas, but I'm not in Christmas mode yet, and I don't even want to think about Christmas yet. After Thanksgiving, maybe. I guess I should get a jump start so that it's not like last minute stockings being put up. I don't know. Anyway, so I thought I would catch you up on what I've been doing in my life and reading and such. We'll start with reading. I have been reading Six of Crows by Lee Barduga, I guess you would say. And I am loving it. I'm just reading it like right before bed. Lucy is sitting on the Hobby Lobby bag. 1 second. Oh, you are being just so extra this morning. Yeah. What are you doing? Okay. Let me move this bag. Let me put it in the pantry. Okay. Sorry for all the interruptions. So yeah, I've been reading it before I go to bed, and my first impression of it was, this is Peaky Blinders. I don't know if you've seen the show, but it's very like, there's these gangs in the town that, you know, they own certain streets and they deal with a bunch of like gambling and stuff. And the main character, Kaz, in Six of Crows reminds me so much of Thomas from that show. Very mysterious, and I don't know. I really love it though. Obviously, I'm like over halfway done and I realize it's not at all Peaky Blinders, but that's what it was reminding me of. And I started watching Seinfeld, which, can we talk about that for a minute? because I have been sleeping on this show for such a long time. I watched it like here and there when it was on TV when I was a kid, like just passively it was on the TV. Like I've heard of it, you know, I knew it was a thing, but I've never like sat down and like Netflix binged this show. And you know, it's not the funniest show in the world, but it's a really like good show. It's, you know, classic sitcom in the 90s. And they know how to wear hand knit sweaters. I think like every other episode somebody's wearing a hand knit sweater with like beautiful cable work or like really funky color work on it, and they're just throwing it over their button down shirts. I love just the amount of hand knitted objects in that show. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I was gushing over one specific episode that had to do, like the main plot had to do with mohair, basically. I won't explain the whole thing, but somebody was allergic to mohair, and it made them question the dude because he was sniffling. But it was, I love it so much. Because first of all, before I even knew that there was mohair in the sweater, I instantly was like, he is wearing a chunky tweedy sweater, and I love it. And at the end, it revealed that it had mohair in it, and I was like, oh my god, this is my sweater that I made, because tweedy yarn and mohair. So that was really cool. Yeah, so I've been watching Seinfeld, like, passively when I'm working or eating dinner, knitting, you know. It's that show that it's just, like, throw on to relax and listen to while you're not really paying attention. So that's what I've been reading and watching. Actually, also, I've been watching my brother. We have a Discord that me and my friends hang out on. My brother has been playing Zelda Ocarina of Time, which something about me, Zelda has been a huge part of my life since I was a kid. I grew up watching my big brother play all the Zelda games on the GameCube, and it's always just been like a nostalgic thing for me, and Ocarina of Time is like the first one that I remember watching him play. Well, he played Wind Waker too, but this was like the oldest one that he played, and so he's been playing it, streaming it on our Discord that we hang out in, and there's this little character, she's in the beginning, her name is Saria, and she's got green hair, and she's very like foresty looking, as everybody is in that game, but she is the character that I am naming my scarf after. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but it's pretty set in stone that I am going to name this pattern the Saria scarf, because it's got leaves on it, and she's from the forest, and I think it's really sweet. But I've been really enjoying just like listening and watching the nostalgic Ocarina of Time being played. That's been really nice. And the next big thing is next week. My husband and I are going to a cabin in northern Georgia, and I'm really, really excited to go walk in the forest. It's on a river, and he's gonna do some fishing, and I'm gonna do some knitting. We are just really looking forward to this cabin trip, and hopefully I'll get some really good photos and show to you for the next episode, and maybe some like videos and stuff to throw at the end or the beginning of the next episode. But yeah, so that's what I've got to show you guys today. Thanks for listening. If you want to see what I'm doing in between podcast episodes, I have an Instagram, like I mentioned earlier. It's called Sparrow, and my neighbor just started his Jeep. My Ravelry is a crafting Sparrow, and that is where I will be posting the pattern for the Saria scarf. So yeah, you guys can follow me on there, and I will catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Bye!